On Christmas Day in 1996, 32-year-old Patty Vaughan left her home and was never seen again. Her car was found abandoned 15 miles away from her house, but there was no sign of Patty anywhere. The only eerie clues left behind were bloodstains scattered across her home and the chilling realization that her 3 children had been playing inside when she vanished. The children, absorbed in their games, didn't even notice that their mother was missing until hours later. And by that time, it was too late. Despite extensive searches, Patty's body was never discovered, leaving her disappearance an unsolved mystery that haunted the town for years. Was it a random act of violence, or was something far darker at play in the quiet town of Lavernia? The Merlyn family mystery, Santa, the disappearance of a young boy. In 2001, a seemingly innocent Christmas party in Denver turned into a chilling tale of disappearances. A Santa Claus had been hired anonymously to distribute presents to the children, spreading holiday cheer among the festive crowd. But when the partygoers looked closer, they saw something that sent a shiver down their spines. The Santa whispered something into the ear of one of the Merlyn family's young sons while he sat on his lap. The boy, no older than 8, appeared confused, and after the Santa's sudden departure, the boy was never seen again. Hours later, it was discovered that the Santa himself had vanished, leaving behind only a trail of mystery. Was the man dressed as Santa connected to the boy's disappearance? Or was this strange figure something far more sinister, a manifestation of something otherworldly? The murder of Tracy. Tracy, who had recently moved to Rochdale from Birmingham with her boyfriend, Joey Kavanagh, returned to her old flat on December 23rd to gather some personal items. 2 men barged into the flat, abducting Tracy and taking her to the small town of Eton. There, they placed her in front of a church, set her on fire, and left her to die. Tragically, Tracy managed to stay conscious long enough to repeat a chilling question the men had asked her. Despite the haunting nature of her last words, Joey denied knowing anything about the men or why they would target his family. The brutal murder, the unanswered question, and the strange circumstances surrounding Tracy's final moments left a community forever haunted. The murder of Rhonda Hinson. On December 22, 1981, Rhonda Hinson, a 19-year-old woman, attended a company Christmas party, never to return home. That night, she was shot while sitting in her car, the bullet passing through the trunk and driver's seat before fatally striking her in the heart. What made Rhonda's death so unsettling was the strange figure spotted near her car shortly before her murder, a mysterious man. Even more unsettling was the fact that Rhonda had acted strangely in the days leading up to her death. Was this a random act of violence? Or was Rhonda's death the result of a dark secret that someone was trying to keep buried? In the 1960s and 70s, the town of Warminster, England, became infamous for a series of UFO sightings. But it wasn't just strange flying objects that captivated the town's attention. It was the terrifying, unexplainable sounds that echoed across the countryside. The most infamous of these incidents involved Marjorie By, who was walking home from a Christmas church service when she suddenly collapsed, overwhelmed by a strange vibrating noise. She described the experience as if invisible fingers were pressing down on her, paralyzing her. The force was so intense that it left her with permanent damage, and she was never able to fully recover from the incident. No one ever explained the strange sounds that plagued Warminster, and many were left wondering, was something truly supernatural at work? Or was this just the beginning of something far more sinister? The disappearance of Nicole Mertens. Tragedy struck again for the Mertens family when Jared Mertens, after losing his wife Susan in a car accident, remarried and moved away with his daughter Nicole. However, the location of their new home was kept a secret from both his family and his late wife's family. Soon after the move, Nicole vanished without a trace. Despite the police investigation, she was never found. Then 2 decades later, Jared and his new wife Barbara were discovered dead in what appeared to be a double suicide. The only clue left behind was a note that read, "We are sorry for everything we've done." Was Nicole's disappearance linked to her father's mysterious new life? Was it possible that Jared and Barbara knew more about her fate than they let on, or had their tragic end been the result of something far darker? The Arkansas Santa Claus gift. In 2007, in a small town in Arkansas, a mysterious man dressed as Santa Claus began leaving strange gifts on the porches of unsuspecting residents. At first, it seemed like a harmless holiday prank until the gifts began to reveal a darker side. 5 of the packages contained nothing but old, useless toys, while one package contained papers, many of which were written by authors from the 80s and 90s. But among the papers was a single note with large, unsettling writing. "I'm sorry for whatever happens to your son." 2 years later, Jamie Freshner's son, Chris, was struck by a car while riding his bike, suffering fatal injuries. The driver fled the scene, never to be identified, leaving Jamie and her family wondering if the mysterious Santa had known something they didn't. Was this an eerie coincidence, or had the Santa Claus been some kind of messenger, warning them of the terrible fate that awaited their son? The murder of Latricia White. In December of 1994, Latricia White's Christmas holiday was tragically cut short. She had been spending time with her boyfriend, Lee Wackerhagen, and his 9-year-old son when things took a terrifying turn. Lee had been scheduled to drop his son off at his mother's house for the holidays, but instead he kept him with him for a few more days. Then, just days later, Latricia was found dead in their apartment, a victim of what appeared to be foul play. Lee and his son were nowhere to be found, and the police suspected that Lee had murdered Latricia before fleeing with his son. Despite extensive investigations, neither Lee nor his son were ever found, and the case remains one of the most haunting unsolved mysteries, leaving many to wonder whether Lee's disappearance was the result of something far more sinister than a simple domestic dispute.